Hey y'all, welcome back to Let's Yap, a weekly yap session where I talk about the most interesting topics for me for this week. This week's topic is going to be education, and a couple of main points on this one. First off, have y'all seen the state of public education, especially in younger kids? Jesus Christ, it's horrible, like actually terrible. My mom's a teacher, and I can't. If I actually go into the specifics on what these kids are doing, I feel like I might like YouTube might restrict this video a little bit. So without saying names, these kids are they're doing things that I didn't even know about in second grade. Some more safe for work examples. There was I don't even like. There's so many. It's so bad. There was a second grader at my mom's school who literally was running around with a pair of scissors, just trying to absolutely destroy all of the other kids on the playground. And my mom's like, "Where'd you even get the scissors from? Like, we don't let you use these." It's insane. And some of the more racial things these kids are doing, they're in second grade. I didn't even know the difference then. Like, are they getting smarter, or was I just that dumb? I teachers they don't make enough for what they're doing. We're defunding them more and more. I don't even. Oh, yeah, public education. When I was younger, and I want to preface this by saying I still think that public education on the whole is good for people. Like I plan on sending my kids to public education whenever I get to that point in my life. But the stuff that these kids are doing to one another and saying to one another, it does make you consider the private option a little bit, which it's more expensive for sure, but I I can't imagine how are these parents parenting these children for them to end up this way. Um, it's it's insane. I remember we had some bad stuff happen at my high school for sure, but you know, elementary school really nothing crazy happened, and it seems like the inability for children to do the most basic tasks is getting more evident as we go on, and it's definitely because of technology, smartphones, all that sort of stuff. I mean, my mom has a hell of a time trying to get kids to even look up, which, there's no phones allowed in the classroom, but trying to get them to pay attention and look up at her for long periods of time is impossible because they've all been fried being raised on tablets. And, I was part of that first wave of kids who had access to, smartphones and, you know, iPads, that sort of thing whenever we wanted to. But I think we were just, and I'm talking about kids born 2003, 2004, 2005. We were just before that was essentially the proxy that parents used to raise kids whenever they didn't feel like doing it. And I'm not saying, all parents are like this. Obviously not. Most people are fine. But there's enough of them. I mean, everyone has heard the stories of kids not being able to read anymore because TikTok just says all of it for them, which God, I hate TikTok. I've only ever used that platform maybe a couple hours over the years because it's just insanely addictive. Anyway, off topic. I'll try and post the story below, but there is a story where I think it's the Wall Street Journal where they tested reading levels of kids who have been born after 2005, which 10-year-olds you don't expect them to have great reading levels, but there is a standard, and it is significantly below where we were at 10, 15 years ago whenever smartphones weren't around. So there's that element of education, the public education on the lower level. Moving up to high school level, the standards have gone down primarily because again technology has just made it even harder. And with AI, I mean, God, I don't even that could be a whole nother yap session because man, that is going to I can't imagine being in high school with Chat GPT or any of that stuff. Like, how do you what's the point in actually doing things if something's just gonna do it for you and probably gonna do it better than you could do it? I mean, I'm in college, and yeah, I won't lie, I've used it a little bit. But long papers, that sort of thing, I still write them for myself because what I'm trying to get out of college is more the education element, less the degree, since I don't actually plan on using my degree. Which this actually segues really perfectly into the next topic I was going to bring up, which was there's the narrative going around that college is not a useful venture anymore for most people. And on one hand, I agree. I mean, when my dad was growing up, getting a college degree basically meant you were set. As long as you had one, you could find a high-paying job, be comfortable in that position, and not really have to think about it too much. And of course, nowadays, I mean, I saw it in my job. I work at a shoe store, and I kid you not, I had a guy, apply for a position there. Dude has a master's degree in economics, and he's applying to work at a shoe store. I know how much he's gonna make. He's not paying back that degree on $12 an hour. And so you have to wonder, like, what are they getting out of this? And it's just the job market sucks that badly right now, where people with master's degrees are going for low-paying jobs and like just gonna be in debt the rest of their lives. I literally can't imagine that. And I looked at his resume, great work experience too. So you gotta wonder, why are they not getting hired? And I don't have the answer for that. I will not pretend I do. But I do think that the narrative college isn't useful is in some ways incorrect. And I'll give my reasoning for that. And I do need to admit a little bit of a privilege check here. I mean, I got lucky. The colleges that I went to have all been fairly affordable, and the town that I live in actually subsidizes 2 years of free college education at the local community college. So, it's been fairly easy for me to pursue higher education without having to worry about the cost as much. Doesn't mean I'm not in debt. I am absolutely in debt. Just maybe not as much as the other person or other people would be. So, I will acknowledge a little bit of a privilege check there. With that being said, I think for the most part, people are looking at college incorrectly, I would say. Because college is not meant for, or at least used to be, college was meant to just get a degree, get a good job, and that's all it is. As long as you had a degree, you were fine. Nowadays, that isn't enough. A lot of people have degrees, especially like some of the more basics ones. I mean, a business degree is basically just a starting point of this nowadays. I mean, you get that, and it's just, okay, well, what else do you have? Certificates, that sort of thing, on the job training. You have to have that to get a job anywhere. But I think what college allows you to do is, one, actually learn, which is why I think AI is so detrimental to what college is trying to do. But, actually learn what you need to learn for the job. Two, trying to, like, approach life and putting yourself out there, networking, building it up for yourself. I mean, you can get a degree, apply to a bunch of positions, and hope that you get a job from that. Or you can get a degree and just get really good at something. For instance, this channel is really just a project of mine that I'm doing so that I can build up a portfolio for video editing. I don't know if I'll ever want to do anything with that one day, but it sure sounds like a lot more fun than filing taxes for people. And yeah, I don't know if it'll turn into anything, but sitting here having videos that I've clearly edited, put a little bit of time to, worked on the audio, and shown some improvement on is kind of like the second part of what going to college is, which is actually applying some of the knowledge you learn. I know it's harder with, less specific degrees. I mean, how are you going to apply law? But I'm sure, I'm not a law student, so I can't tell you. But I'm sure there are ways you can apply that degree and you're in a more casual setting that can showcase to future employers, or hell, maybe you just want to make your own firm, that sort of thing. I mean, we live in the age of entrepreneurs, and so aiming for a degree for the sake of getting a degree really feels like just spinning your wheels at this point. And I'm sure some people still have success with that. I am sure not. And I mean, here I'll tell a little more about like my story. I went to small high school in a very rural state. Left that high school education and went to the local community college because we get 2 years of that for free. Got all my basics done there. Switched over to a higher end 4-year degree with an idea for what I was going to do. I started off as a music education major. Decided I don't want to do that. Switched over to business. Decided I don't want to do that. Switched over to horticulture, I think it was. Did a semester of that. Hated it. Switched back to business because it was easy. And I am about 4 classes away from graduating with a business degree. And I've fairly recently decided that that's just not what I want to be doing either. But I'm well too far in to give up now. And so instead of quitting, I'm just going to finish out this degree and go back to meteorology, which has kind of been, my lifelong goal was to have a degree in meteorology and be a meteorologist. And, things happen. And somewhere along the way, I decided that I couldn't do that, and I needed to focus on something else. And I really don't know why, because meteorology is not like it's not one of those things that you think of like someone's dream, But I've always wanted to be doing that, and so again, part of this is trying to teach myself how to put myself outside my comfort zone. I'm horribly video editing and video creation, and trying to learn, put myself in those uncomfortable situations is kind of what made me realize I'm just playing it safe by being in a business degree. And I'm not saying business degrees aren't useful, but let's not kid ourselves here. If you have a business degree, that's not the only reason why you're getting a job or getting, a certain career you've always wanted. Most people who have this degree use it as a starting point for something else. That's fine, but you do have to be realistic about that. It's not enough to get your job anymore. So, yeah, this really was a ramble sesh today. I feel like I had a point, kind of lost it halfway through, but it's just how yapping is sometimes. So, thanks for watching if you're still here. Also, I feel like I should mention this, but that last video did fairly well, but I do feel like I infiltrated a slightly conservative market of viewers, which is interesting. So, if you are conservative, good for you. You probably are not going to like most of the content on this channel, but you are more than welcome to stay, and your comments are so appreciated because, man, do they pad my viewership a little bit. So, thank you guys for watching. Y'all have a great day.